Good evening, everyone. Oh, I thought somebody else was coming in. Welcome to the meeting of the Old Bridge Township Board of Education pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10-4-10. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by advertising such notice in the Home News Tribune, the Asbury Park Press, the Board Office, Schools, Cablevision Channel 118, Verizon Fios Channel 24, and by filing such notice with the Township Clerk. Meeting was scheduled for this evening, Tuesday, March 15th, 2016. The Board will take formal action on payment of bills and other agenda items. Mr. Mara?
The Old Bridge Township Board of Education acknowledges that the law of this state establishes that members of the public, including members of the board, have the right to record public board meetings using audio or video recording devices, provided that that act of recording does not interfere with the business of this public board meeting. Therefore, the board makes it known that any such recording is to be considered the private recording of the individual and in no manner represents the official record of this board. The board therefore takes no responsibility for such private recording and completely disavows any future use.
Thank you, Mr. Mara. Roll call.
Dunn.
Here.
Dinoff.
Present.
Hopman.
Here.
DePrima.
Here.
Ellis Foster.
Here.
Mongan. Singh.
Here.
Weber. Andriani.
Present.
Quorum exists.
Thank you, Mr. Mara. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you please remain standing? I know that it's not on the paperwork, but we did have the passing of a former employee, so we'd like to recognize that passing and give our best wishes out to family and friends for Sharon, the family of Sharon Piscatelli, who was a former art teacher in the district, and certainly somebody who was very involved with our Old Bridge Arts Festival. She will be officially recognized on our agenda the next meeting, but if we could just have a moment. Thank you. Okay, we have begun the reading of the Code of Ethics, and Mr. Dunn was kind enough to offer to do that service for us for this month.
Recognize the authority that rests with the Board of Education and make no personal promises nor take any private action that may compromise the board.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. Mr. Mara, at this time, would you like to talk about our addendum?
You need a motion.
I need a motion first. I need a motion to approve the addendum. Is there somebody out there? Thank you, Ms. Foster?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Foster is making a motion. Do I have a second?
Hopman will second.
Thank you, Ms. Hopman.
Thank you.
Now, any discussion? Mr. Mara?
DePrima.
Yes.
Dunn.
Yes.
Dinoff.
Yes.
Ellis Foster.
Yes.
Hopman.
Yes.
Singh.
Yes.
Andriani.
Yes.
The motion to pass the addendum is approved. To add the addendum is approved.
Thank you very much. Okay, at this point in time, we are moving to approval of minutes. I need a motion.
Sorry, Mrs. Andriani. There are some administrative corrections tonight. Just
Okay.
wanted to point out, there are copies of the administrative corrections in the back for the public, and the board members' agendas include anything that's in yellow is an administrative correction. Either it was not discussed at the agenda meeting, or it's a correction from the agenda meeting. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Now may I have a motion?
Dinoff will move.
Thank you, Mr. Dinoff. I need a second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Foster. Mr. Mara, roll call.
Dunn,
Yes.
Dinoff,
Yes.
Hopman,
Yes.
Prima,
Yes.
Ellis Foster,
Yes.
Singh,
Yes.
Andriani.
Yes,
Resolution 1 passes.
thank you very much. Mr. Mara, anything else at this time? Okay. All right, student representative, Joe? I still can't pronounce your last names, I apologize.
The OBS peer program participated in the Polar Plunge again this winter, and we proudly donated the most out of any high school that participated. I believe it was around $10,000. The peer program also just recently signed up to be part of the New Jersey Brain Tumor Walk, another noble charity that we will be donating to. The class of 2017 and 2018 presented the very first ever lip sync battle, where our very own students, teachers, principals, and yes, even Mr. Cittadino competed in the battle. The boys track team had another very successful indoor track season. This past weekend, they competed at the New Balance Nationals. On Friday, Girardi Ambrosio, Scott Belton, Kenny Bracco, and Ray Rivera placed 6th in the nation in the distance medley, breaking the school record as well as becoming All-Americans. Also competing over the weekend was Mike Del Vecchio, Chris Weedman, Chris Gilbert, Brandon Davis, and Dom Walton. This was easily our most successful season in the school's history. This upcoming Thursday, Friday, and Saturday will be the school play Sweet Charity with Haley Flintstead as the lead. Not too much has happened this month, but next month certainly a lot more will be said. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joe.
I would like to add that, Mr. Cisano, your international studies teacher just texted me, you have to go study. You may go.
So now you get contacted in social media and how many other venues? Go do your homework, Joe. All right, we're now at the recognition phase. Number one is our Daniel Rehorn, one of our Eagle Scouts that we're very proud of. And it was a project that was done at Cooper School, and our principal, Ms. Kathy Ramada, is standing over in the wings right now with our new Eagle Scout. So come on up to the podium.
All right, I know I'm able to do it like this. Tonight I have the honor of standing before all of you and presenting to you Dan Rehorn. At Cooper, we had a couple of Eagle Scouts come and approach us about doing some projects. And Dan and I started talking at the first project that was done at our school, and Dan was saying to me he was having trouble finding places that he could do his project. And so we walked around the perimeter of the school, and near the walker doorway were these benches, which I'm sure when they were put in were lovely. However, over time, they had started to see better days. Plus, there was a big drainage issue in that area, which, you know, when I had gotten there last January, was a constant source of, you know, de-icing, and, you know, it just really didn't feel very welcoming. So when Dan and I walked the perimeter, we saw it, and, you know, we came up with the idea of, you know, maybe taking the benches out and replacing them. Well, sounds simple enough. However, once we start digging, you know, we found that there were definitely drainage issues. There were things that were underneath that prevented it from being a smooth sailing. However, Dan his idea not only got rid of something that wasn't functional, but even gave us even extra added seating space. And since then, it's become a little bit of a meeting ground. Our pictures were taken outside in the fall for our student council. And just recently, we did a share your ears, and the staff said, why don't we go sit on Dan's benches? And we did. With the upcoming warm weather, we're looking to replant some flowers. It was given a suggestion by someone to start a gardening club, and so we're hoping that that will continue to grow. I have to say that, and Dan and I were talking, you know, I feel like one of the luckiest people ever to have these students come back, and it really truly does embody the whole idea of, you know, paying it forward. It's an amazing experience, and it wasn't just Dan. It was a multitude of people, especially Mr. Rehorn and Miss Brooks and Mom and everybody else who came out. It was an amazing program, and I just was informed that Dan is attending Ohio Technical College. I keep wanting to say institute. Ohio Technical College, and you are studying?
Automotive and diesel technology.
So, and it's an exciting career. We will miss you, but I just told him before that he has to come back and do maintenance. So it's not a one and done. He has to keep coming back and making sure that it's okay. But honestly, on behalf of everyone that made it happen, because it was an amazing experience, and I really, honestly, and I meant it, I said it before, it's a beautiful, beautiful place to sit. And so I thank you for thinking of Cooper and choosing us. And I put together a little video montage of the progression that it took, just for everyone to get a little glimpse into what it took to get it done. So, enjoy. Remember where we didn't know what to do with the rest of the program? Yes, absolutely. And I'm happy to report that after the big storm that we have no longer any issues with drainage. And it's nice to see every afternoon that there are parents that are sitting there on those benches waiting for their children. They bring their dogs, they congregate. So it has made such an impact on Cooper School, and I couldn't be any more thankful. And on behalf of Cooper crew, just a little something for you, Dan. Good luck, and thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you all very much.
Congratulations again, Daniel. And again, you know that I don't let this opportunity pass. To be an Eagle Scout, the project is not a project, it's an Eagle Scout service project. There are over 300 separate requirements over a long period of time, a myriad of badges that are quite a wide variety between citizenship and family life and creating budgets and long-term environmental, phenomenal, phenomenal thing. And the Eagle Scout Service Project, the Scout serves as the project manager. And one of the things I find interesting about the project and the whole process itself is that when you are done, you have to not only set up your proposal and have it approved on 2 different levels, but when you are complete, you have to send it back in so that the whole process is approved. And at that point, one of the things they ask in writing is, did you have to change anything? Or what adaptations did you have to make? Or what did you learn? What was unexpected? And that is just as amazing a write-up as the actual proposal itself. Like you had said, you start digging in the ground, next thing you know, you have to change things. So it's a wonderful experience for the Scout and all the people that work with him. And Scouts are alive and well in Old Bridge. We have quite a few Eagle Scouts that are graduates of Old Bridge High School. And Dan, thank you very much for joining that rank. Thank you. Okay, now we need to have, I know, we need a motion to approve our recognition.
Dunn will make a motion to approve recognition.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. Thank you, Ms. Hartman. I don't think there's any discussion unless anybody wants something to say.
So
Ms.
my
Foster?
usual one is to thank the parents, because we all know it is not alone. And actually, I know the Rehorns have been involved in scouting many years, because they were involved way back when their older son Matthew was also in Alex's troop a a long time ago now. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Foster. Okay, Mr. Mara, roll call.
Dinoff,
Yes.
Hopman,
Yes, and congratulations.
DePrima,
Yes.
Ellis Foster,
Yes.
Singh,
Yes.
Dunn,
Yes.
Andriani.
Yes,
Resolutions pass.
thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Cittadino, you're up. Superintendent's report.
Thank you. In the early part of March, we received a notification from the Department of Education about the ASSA accountability regulations. And what they did, they sent out a report based upon districts and their participation with students in the park assessment. Why this is important is, after the park was administered, they decided that they're not allowed to call it a corrective action plan, I learned, but they're allowed to call it an accountability action plan. It has to be in place for any school district and/or school in which subgroups, and there's 10 subgroups that take the park, any of those 10 subgroups do not meet 95 percentile participation of students across the district. So throughout the entire district, if one subgroup does not meet 95% participation, then that school in the district has to do an accountability action plan, which requires a lot of data and time taking up from the administration's day, the staff's day, to develop this action plan. So I want to applaud the educators of Old Bridge, and the parents of Old Bridge, that Old Bridge, across 10 subgroups, had no areas where we have to address this through an action plan because of our participation. I know that there are a lot of differentiated opinions about the park, and there's a place for those feelings to be demonstrated. But as a district, the worst thing we want to see is that our district is hurt through our staff and through our management of our buildings by having to do more meaningless paperwork for accountability. So I want to applaud everyone in the families of Old Bridge for making that happen. Another piece of it, and we never know how the budget formula is spread across the districts in the state of New Jersey, but just in my county meeting that I attend once a month, there was definitely a connection between districts who had below 90% participation and their budget shortfalls this year. They received less state aid than they had previous years for those districts that had lower than 90%. So that's something else, that we want to make sure that doesn't happen here as well. Now, the state may say that it had nothing to do with it, but the connection was definitely there for the districts that I spoke to. The second thing I do want to address today is really not part of our, well, I'll actually have one more goal item. I do want to commend the township and the Old Bridge High School TV studio. They did a great presentation and video the other day with the roundtable, and it really speaks to one of our goals that we have is hearing that student voice. And the staff here, the young people, and the directors of the TV studio did a great job in producing that and allowing us to have that student voice. And I know it was aired on the township television as well. There were links to it on our district webpage. So if you haven't had a chance, check it out. See our students and hear what they're having to say about education. We're expanding that where I'm going to have meetings with our student senates at both middle schools and elementary meet and greet nights around the district where elementary students can come out, talk about their schools, what they like about their schools, what they'd like to see improved in their schools, and talk about such topics as blended learning, homework, the use of homework, and how we can better serve and support these students through our programs. The last thing I do want to talk about is that I want to commend our transportation department in Old Bridge today. There was a tragic accident on Route 9 where lives were lost, tied up the thoroughfares of Old Bridge throughout the course of the entire day. And our transportation department worked tirelessly to get the buses out into the yard, out of the yard, into the school areas, so they wouldn't get blocked in there, so they can reach our students throughout the course of the day. The bus drivers took alternate routes around the district, weaving throughout neighborhoods to make sure that they got the students home. They might not have got them home at their normal time, but through their careful diligence, they made sure every student got home safely, and that was no small feat today. I want to applaud Transportation Department, the drivers, the paraprofessionals that are on those buses, and the leadership there, for everyone doing a great job, inclusive of the mechanics and everyone who makes these buses run, because we do it at a great system of efficiency every year and safety. And I always do throughout my tweets or everywhere I am, I want to thank the first responders in this town. They're always there. They're always there to support the people of Old Bridge, to protect them, to respond in case there's an emergency, and they do a great job with that. So thank you to everyone who responded today and always responds for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cittadino. Mr. Mara, any correspondence? Okay. Special committee reports, we've had a few. I don't know if anybody's ready to discuss them. Okay. Mr. Dinoff, would you like to go first?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam President. We had a Public Relations Committee meeting on March 10th, and this was the first Public Relations Committee that met in some time. It was a very productive and informative discussion. We had input from various perspectives, including board members, administration, students, the PTA, and educators. Lori Lucci, Public Relations Coordinator, offered a public relations overview of the district. She spoke about the recent positive publicity in the local newspapers and the News 12 coverage of the Sandberg-sponsored Senior Citizens Prom that occurred earlier this month. She also discussed the success of the improved media release policy, which has parents utilizing an online form. Janine Arciero discussed realtor outreach initiatives. She spoke about how she worked with administration to invite realtors from our community and surrounding areas to a gathering to show them how far the Old Bridge school system has come and to share the district's recent accolades. The realtors were provided with key information about the schools to utilize when marketing properties to potential homebuyers. Some of the points that were discussed included Old Bridge being named a National District of Character, increased advanced placement, enrollment, and scores, rising SAT scores, and the district's school safety program. Also, the district's championship athletic programs. An overwhelming majority of realtors responded positively to a survey about their experience, and we hope to schedule another presentation for realtors in the coming months. Joseph Chisano, student body president, discussed the Old Bridge High School's educational roundtable, which took place in the TV studio. The discussions included students and members of administration. The students and administrators had the chance to learn from one another and discuss ways to further student achievement. The taping of the informal discussion is available on the district's website. Additional roundtable discussions will be held, as Mr. Cittadino just highlighted. Mr. Cittadino, Dr. Hoker, and Kim Costain discussed the district's senior citizen and community outreach programs, where they visited local senior citizen facilities and homeowners associations to discuss programs in the district, and they presented the seniors with information and T-shirts. All of the parties involved greatly enjoyed the program and found it to be an effective method to reach those who may not have a direct link to the school district. The committee also discussed the recent superintendent's forum, where the Edivate video was shown. At the meeting, parents ranked topics important to them and their children. These topics included the need to expand the transition program, homework assistance and study skills, alternate times for parent-teacher conferences, and the need to create a special education advisory committee. And this committee will be started later this year. Dr. Hoker discussed the morning greeting, a program that allows elementary students to develop a bond with other students and their teachers. Because of the program, children have learned a great deal from one another and participate also in a sharing component, which they greatly enjoy and look forward to each day. Additionally, the committee addressed district communication and ways of effectively spotlighting student achievements to the entire community at large. The committee also spoke about the district goal that focuses on increasing student input and will be looking to the possibility of including student representatives on Board of Education committees, including curriculum, technology, and athletics. Also, Mr. Cittadino plans to initiate a Sundays with the Superintendent program. He will meet with students at Friendly's located on Ferry Road to have informal discussions and gather their input. Sounds like fun. Overall, the committee had a very positive meeting and gathered a lot of insightful input. I hope to schedule another Public Relations Committee meeting sometime in the near future. And I thank everyone for coming, and I thank everyone for sharing their valuable input. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dinoff. Mr. Dunn?
Thank you, Madam President. On Wednesday, March 1st, we had a committee of the whole for finance, transportation, buildings, grounds, and transportation. The gist of the meeting was to work on the 2016-2017 budget. And it's a tedious process. The budget starts in October, and we meet periodically to discuss the needs of the district and determine how we're going to pay for those needs. And quite frankly, we constructed a budget which is a very difficult process. The budget needs to meet the needs of all children, fair and equitably. Obviously, we need to be very careful on where we apply our funds. This year was a very difficult process, and at the March 1st meeting, we did get some bad news concerning the increase of healthcare premiums, which was not expected. And when you have something of that nature which is not projected in your budget, it throws you for a loop and causes a lot of issue. With that said, the administration did a fabulous job on trying to find an alternative, which they did. Initially, our healthcare provider is a private insurance company who gave us a very advantageous rate last year. This year, however, those rates weren't so advantageous, and they went up 28%. So that throws our budget into a real quagmire. So the administration worked tirelessly to find alternatives, which they did, to try to keep our budget within reason. There were other avenues that we had to discuss as well to make sure that we had the monies that were needed to give the best education possible. The district also discussed the new initiatives for the 2016-2017 school year, and we're doing everything possible to preserve those initiatives because we feel that it's important to continue the progress of giving the best education. So when we construct the budget, it's not an easy process. People feel, well, you should be able to cut in areas and do better and save and sharpen your pencil. And yes, the Board of Education has done that. We've done that, and we continue to do that. But we also have an obligation to ensure that our educational system is sound and gives the best education. And I think that as we get along into our discussion this evening, you're going to hear that we will adopt the tentative budget this evening. But I want to make the public feel secure and feel confident that this Board of Education vetted the entire process, and that we feel confident that the budget we're going to propose tonight is in the best interest of our children and community as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. Just for clarification, as you were speaking, when you were talking about insurance premiums, it sounded like 8%. Would you like to restate what those premiums went up?
I do apologize. Those premiums that were stated, 28%. So just imagine how much that will cost the district. And fortunately for us, we were able to get back into the state health benefits program, which only necessitated a 10% increase. So when you have a budget of $7 million or $8 million for your health care benefits for your employees, 28% is an incredible, huge increase. And you can imagine how that throws a budget into a very difficult pitfall. But we were able to manage that process, and we were able to manage it where it's going to be a very palatable increase this year. And like I said, we'll get into those details later on during the finance portion of this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. I thought that was an important enough point to restate. Thank you again.
You're welcome,
Anyone else for a committee report?
Madam President, could I just add an addendum to my report from last month?
Absolutely, Mr.
If anybody
DePrima.
remembers, one of the issues at my athletics, health and food services meeting was there's some benches in the field house, weight benches that needed reupholstering. Mr. Singh thought he might be able to do something, and sure enough, he came through with a donation, I guess from your employer, I believe, or a person. I don't know where the donation came from, and I don't care because the key word there is free donation. But we are able now to reupholster the benches in the field house thanks to his thoughtfulness. And I'd like to commend Mr. Dinoff on your first meeting. I think it was a fantastic meeting. We got a lot was said and a lot was heard and I think accomplished. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Anyone have a meeting coming up that they would like to announce?
Let's see, we have, on the 23rd, we have a long-range planning and strategy meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Foster. Anyone else at this time? No? Okay. We're acknowledging the facilities use, although we don't need a motion on that. So that brings us to hearing of the residents for agenda items only. Is there anyone here that wishes to speak? Mr. O'Neill?
Hello, thank you. I do want to speak about the change in health benefits for the employees, which Mr. Dunn already brought up. A little background, up until July of 2015, the employees were in the same plan that we're now being moved back into. In July 2015, the board moved us out of that plan to save money. In January of 2016, we negotiated a reduction in our benefits to save the district money, and now we are being moved back into the state plan in order to save money. We understand that it is part of the board's job to get the best deal that they can for the taxpayers, but I do want to clarify a few things. Since 2010, the employees in this district have had an additional $4.5 million now. At this point, it's gone up to $4.5 million a year that we pay for our benefits that the district does not cover. In the same time, the cost of the district has gone up less than 25% of that. So it is not all being taken on by the district. A lot of it is actually falling on the employees, as are a lot of other seemingly minor difficulties that can become major problems with the constant changes. We've had people get 5 and 6 different conflicting dental insurance cards, which have led people to go to the doctors when they're not covered, the dentist when they're not covered. We've had people in the emergency room where they're told by the receptionist there that they don't have insurance, when they know very well that they do, but the complications that come from switching your plan so frequently cause a lot of confusion. I heard Mr. Dunn reference 28%, which is what I understand the plan we're in now was going to increase. But I also heard a new number, which was that the state plan is only going to increase 10%. So I just wanted to see if we could verify that that will be the state plan increase in January.
No, that number is not verifiable. That's just the estimate of the state health benefits increase at this point is between 10 and 15%. It's only an estimate. The announced rate is not made available until either July or August.
Okay, and my only other question is exactly how much money did the district save by moving us from the state plan for the past year before moving us back? Did that end up actually saving the district any money?
Yes, it did, but I'm not prepared to quantify that tonight. If you would have asked me for that information in advance, I could have provided it to you.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Mr. O'Neill. Anyone else? No. Okay, Mr. Mara?
Okay, as part of tonight's meeting, we need to have a separate hearing of the residents relating to an item on the section of finance on page 10, item number 10. I'm just going to read it so everyone knows what we will be discussing. Item number 10 is as follows. Move the Board of Education approve the attached resolution authorizing certain actions necessary in the connection with the sale and issuance of not to exceed $35,825,000 aggregate principal amount of refunding school bonds and authorizing the appropriate officials to do all acts and things deemed necessary and advisable in connection with this sale, issuance, and delivery of said bonds. To explain that in layman's terms, what the district is doing is refinancing $35 million worth of outstanding bonds that are due over the next 15 to 20 years. We will be doing that over the next 30-day period, and it is expected that the local taxpayer will save $5 million in debt service tax levy over that period. At this point, Ms. Robbie Akampora is here from Phoenix Advisors. She will be handling the refinance. She's going to make a brief presentation.
The district has bonds that were issued in 2006, and just like everyone's home mortgage, since then the rates have decreased. The bonds were at about a 4.5%. The bonds are going to be refunded in about 2.5%. They could not be refunded until today, this time period. So, as Joe mentioned, the savings are going to be between $4 and $5 million. We'll lock in the savings on March 30th, the day we sell the bonds, but this is the final action that the board has to take to authorize the sale of the bonds. If anybody has any questions, I'd be glad to answer.
At this time, is there anyone from the public that would like to ask any other questions or have comments, discussion in this particular issue only, in terms of reissuance of bond? No? Okay, Mr. Mara. Okay, moving on. We don't have anything under policy at this time, so we're looking at curriculum. And I need a motion for numbers 1 through 12.
Dinoff will move curriculum items 1 to 12.
Thank you, Mr. Dinoff. Do I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Hopman. At this point, is there anyone for discussion? No discussion. Okay. Roll call, Mr. Mara.
Dinoff,
Yes.
Hopman,
Yes.
DePrima,
Yes.
Ellis Foster,
Yes.
Singh,
Yes.
Dunn,
Yes.
Andriani.
Yes.
Resolutions 1 through 12 pass.
Thank you. Athletics, there is only one item. We have a new head bowling coach being asked for approval.
Dunn will move athletics, item 1.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. I need a second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Ellis Foster. Any discussion? Okay, bowl away, Mr. Mara.
Hopman,
Yes.
DePrima,
Yes.
Ellis Foster,
Yes.
Singh,
Yes.
Dunn,
Yes.
Dinoff,
Yes.
Andriani.
Yes,
Resolution 1 passes.
thank you very much. Okay, finance. Are we separating?
Well, you
10?
need a motion for numbers 1 through 20, including the addendum.
Okay. But
And
we don't
then-
need to do
then-
10 separately.
No, you do not need to vote on it separately, but there may be separations.
Okay. All right, I need a
Just
motion for
abstain
numbers
from
1 through 20 on finance.
Dunn will move finance items 1 through 20 as amended, and I would like to separate number 17 for discussion purposes, Madam President.
Okay, number 17. Okay, I need a second.
Single second.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. Okay, Mr. Dunn, 17, you wanted to discuss?
Yes, as I had mentioned earlier in my committee report, I just want to make it very clear to the public that preparing and constructing a budget is not an easy process, and it's one of those things where you need to weigh all the situations in the district accordingly to make the right determination for our children. This year was no different. I believe last year's budget, I know that it was 1.4%, which is always a great thing to be able to minimize a tax increase. However, last year's budget ratification is partially the reason why we have to increase above 2% this year. I just want to make it known that the administration, along with Mr. Mara, worked very diligently to find a solution that works for all. We want to give the finest education to our children, and that's what this district does. And we're all responsible to do that, from board members down to the staff, the administration, the public, the elected officials. We all have an obligation, and we all expect the finest. And we need to fund for the finest education. And this year's budget was a little difficult to put together because of the unknowns that we were confronted with health insurance. Anytime when you have an increase of 28%, you have a tendency of having issues finalizing budget because you had an unexpected increase. And I want to commend Joe Mara for finding the avenues along with the administration to make this budget work. As you know, we have worked very hard to increase our offerings to all our students. We have a fair and equitable solution here for everyone, including the special needs environment. And that's one of the reasons why we have to increase our budget modestly, is because we have to make sure we treat everyone equally. And yes, we have a very large special needs contingent, and we need to make sure that they get the services that they require so that they have a fair and equitable chance to be successful. So the budget that you're going to see tonight and we're voting on for a tentative ratification is the best we can do, and I'm supporting it 100%. The increase is, I believe, at 2.83%, which I think is very fair. Numbers were a lot higher, and the board worked with the administration to get it down to a point where it would be palatable. Again, we have a lot of new initiatives going into the district. We have a lot of resources being pushed back into the classrooms where it belongs, and I feel comfortable with a 2.83% increase, which will equate to, I believe, $5.50 a month at a $65 increase a year. And I'm going to support it 100% because we are doing the very best, and this district is growing, and we have the results to prove it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. Mr. Mara, during our presentation at the finance meeting, you mentioned something about there was a term that the state said that we are underspending. What was that called?
Yeah, each year prior to the issuance of the state aid notices, or included in the issuance of the state aid notices to all the district, the state does a calculation which identifies what they believe the local share of the budget should be. And in our particular case, their conclusion is that our budget, the local share of the budget should be approximately $99 million. And the budget that we're proposing has a local share or a local tax levy of $93,715,000. So they still consider our budget below adequacy. But again, that's a calculation that they made based on an abstract school district somewhere in the state that has 5,000 students. It doesn't take into account the uniqueness of the needs that we have in our district, but that nevertheless is their position, that we are underfunding the budget.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to put that on the record out there, that the board and the administration and your office has worked diligently to find a reasonable, fair and equitable budget. And I just wanted people to know that the state thinks we're not spending enough. So I wanted to put that out there.
I just want to speak to a topic that's in this budget. In the operating budget, there is $152,628 going to charter schools. It's only going to a charter school. And I'm going to speak to this from a place of experience. I worked for many years in one of the largest cities in the state of New Jersey. And at that time, when the charter school movement came out, the legislation for charter schools was to, whether you agree with them or disagree with them, was to provide a safe learning environment for students in these communities in which the schools were failing them, and where students couldn't learn in a safe environment. And I will say, in that experience, whether I agree with the charter legislation or I didn't, I did see families that had no choice, in which students were beaten and teachers were beaten and left for dead in the building. And the schools at that point weren't doing everything for those kids who needed a way out, someplace to learn. So the purpose for the charter school initiative at that point, for those communities, it had its message and its point. This $152,000 is going to a boutique school in East Brunswick that is far from a failing district, far from a district that can't keep its children safe, like Old Bridge. And we are at the point now where we're told we have to finance 12 students going there. It's not a number we can predict or anything, just they're told we have 12 students going there, and it's going to come out from the general fund. So that's when you'll see is $152,000 is approximately 3 teachers' salaries that we lose to this, which I'm going to tell you is not a charter school, it's a boutique school where students have the opportunity to learn a language as part of their education. And it really is I say, for someone who worked in a community that needed charter schools, it's an offensive abuse of a loophole, and that allows for, I almost equate it to people using, food stamps who don't need them. And that's basically what this is, taking money from local schools to send your child to a private school, but using a system in which you can have the local schools funded. And that's what we see there, but thank you.
Okay, Mr. Cittadino, thank you very much for your comments and the explanation for that particular cost item. Any other discussion? If
I'd
not,
like
we'll go for a recall. Mr. DePrima?
Yes, please. You know, probably the hardest job of being on the Board of Ed is preparing the budget. I mean, we have 9 people that are responsible for everybody out there's tax money. It's a very arduous task. One thing I could assure you, though, everybody up here has the student's best interest at heart. Fortunately, we are becoming a great school district. Unfortunately, to keep that, we have to spend money. I mean, it's just like your home. You know, you think things go up, and to maintain your lifestyle, you got to find it somewhere. A lot of things are beyond our control, as Mr. Dunn attested to, as far as benefits and things like that. I mean, you could just compare it to your home budget, and you see what I mean. If we want to stay where we are and keep going on to greatness, it's going to cost us. So I just want everybody to know what goes into it. It's not just a one-night meeting, say yes or no. It's a months-long task that everybody puts their heart and soul into, and I guess this is what we have to do to keep our standards up where they are.
Thank you, Mr. DePrima. All right, Ms. Foster?
Yeah, I just have a clarifying question. The next step is, this will be posted on the website, right? So the public can see the detail with all of this that's behind it?
Typically, what happens after this, I will submit this to the county superintendent, and I believe the user-friendly budget is posted on the website, but it's subject to change until the public hearing, which is on April 28th.
Great, thank you. Yeah, and I just do want to reiterate what the other members said. You know, at the end of the day, we're a service industry, and our product is because of people who support the school and our children, and the bulk of our money is for people. You know, we all went through the negotiations and making sure we paid our teachers and our staff, you know, what they deserve, whether we would wish we could do more. But it's a service industry. We don't get revenues, and unfortunately, the only revenue we get is from the taxpayers. We don't charge our children for our services, so, and every year expenses go up. So again, I think no one likes to see an increase, but many things are staying flat. We have a few new initiatives, but I don't think very excessive at all. Certainly not what we really would want to do. We would love to expand even further. So it will be posted, and we hope everyone looks at it. If you have questions, you know how to contact us all. And hopefully, we'll look forward to the 28th of April and continue the discussion and be able to pass it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mara, we did have a question from the audience earlier in terms of when and how they might be able to view the new initiatives that are included in this budget. So could you answer that? Is there a way to answer that for me?
Well, typically the budget is not finalized. This is the budget that's being approved for advertised in the newspaper. The budget is not finalized until the public hearing, and at that public hearing, a presentation is made of all the costs associated in the budget, all the new adoptions, what the impact on the local taxpayer is, and any extraordinary items that may affect the budget. So it's usually posted just about the time the public hearing is about to happen.
Okay, and as
That presentation has not been done yet. It usually isn't done till a week before the public hearing.
Okay, so, and we have on here that it's Thursday, April
28th of April,
28th.
yes.
So that's the timeline that we're looking at
Yes.
at that point. Okay? All righty, thank you. Okay, we're ready for roll call.
DePrima,
Yeah, excuse me, yes.
Ellis Foster,
Yes.
Singh,
Yes.
Dunn,
Yes.
Dinoff,
Yes.
Hopman,
Yes, and I would like to abstain from voting on number 20.
okay. I'm sorry, I think I made a mistake. So are we voting on 1 through 20, or are we voting from 1 to 16?
No,
And
1
8 through 20?
1 through 20,
1 through 20.
including the addendum,
Okay, all
And
right.
then
Okay.
we separated 17 just to discuss.
I'm not.
Testing.
No, it's just you, Donna.
She's abstaining from number.
Yes.
All right, we're back.
Ms. Hopman is
Yeah.
just abstaining from number 20. Correct, Ms. Hopman?
Okay. So just to reiterate, Ms. Hoppin is voting yes on 1 through 19.
19.
Andriani?
Yes.
Okay, items 1 through 20 pass.
All right, non-certificated personnel office, just one. I need a motion. God bless you.
I'll move it.
Thank you. That was Ms. Foster. In case you didn't hear, I need a second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. Any discussion on
Bless you.
one, item number one? All right, Mr. Mara.
Ellis Foster?
Yes.
Singh?
Yes.
Dunn?
Yes.
Dinoff?
Yes.
Hopman?
Yes.
DePrima?
Yes.
Andriani?
Yes.
Resolution 1 passes.
Okay, non-certificated personnel, operational, 1, 2, and 3.
Dunn will move non-certificated personnel operational items 1 through 3.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. DePrima. Any discussion? No. Okay. Mr. Mara?
Ellis Foster?
Yes.
Singh?
Yes.
Dunn?
Yes.
Dinoff?
Yes.
Hopman?
Yes for 1 and 2. I will be abstaining for number 3.
DePrima?
Yes.
Andriani?
Yes.
Resolutions 1 through 3 pass.
Thank you. All right, non-certificated personnel, other, 1 through 5. I need a motion.
Dinoff will second.
Thank you, Ms. Hopman and Mr. Dinoff. Are you okay? Okay. Any discussion? Okay, Mr. Mara.
Singh?
Yes.
Dunn?
Yes.
Dinoff?
Yes.
Hopman?
Yes.
DePrima?
Yes.
Ellis Foster?
Yes.
Andriani?
Yes. All right, thank you very-
Resolutions 1 through 5 pass.
Alrighty, certificated personnel, 1 through 14? 1 through 14. I need a motion.
Dunn will make a motion
Thank
to
you,
move
Mr. Dunn.
certificated personnel 1 through 14.
Need a second?
Hopman will second.
Okay, Ms. Hopman, thank you very much. Is there any discussion from the board on any items? Mr. Mara?
Singh?
Yes.
Dunn?
Yes.
Dinoff?
Yes.
Hopman?
Yes.
DePrima?
Yes.
Ellis Foster?
Yes.
Andriani?
Yes.
Resolutions 1 through 14 pass.
Thank you very much. Non-certificated personnel, transportation, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Hopman will make a motion to move non-certificated personnel transportation 1 through 4.
Thank you,
Dinoff will
Ms.
second.
Hopman. Mr. Dinoff, thank you very much for your second. Is there any discussion from the board? No. Mr. Mara, roll call.
Dunn?
Yes.
Dinoff?
Yes.
Hopman?
Yes.
DePrima?
Yes.
Ellis Foster?
Yes.
Singh?
Yes.
Andriani?
Yes.
Resolutions 1 through 4 pass.
Thank you very much. Supplies, equipment, and services, number 1 only.
Dunn will move supplies, equipment, and services, item 1.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. I need a second.
Hopman will second.
Thank you, Ms. Hopman. Any discussion by the board?
Yes, please, Madam President. Mr. Mara, would you just be kind enough to explain to the public how you explained to us how this adds up number-wise? Please?
Okay, the district has a technology plan in place that it doesn't require, but it enables us to roll out equipment that is used to provide network infrastructure as it becomes obsolete, and then we replace it with new serviceable equipment. Ms. Roseanne Moran has been able to find a vendor who was purchasing this obsolete equipment that we can no longer use. And this is the second piece or this is the second sale that she was able to arrange. The first sale was approximately $35,000 of network switches, and now these are additional, this is an additional $5,000 for access points. So we're selling equipment that is obsolete rather than throwing it away.
Ms. Moran, be my guest.
I just would like to add that this is a project that I worked on with Sean McCoy and Debbie Noor, and we were able to work together to accomplish this.
Well, I thank you very much for finding a way for us to make money on things that are old. So thank you very much. Don't be offended on that. That was a compliment, Ms. Moran, just in case it didn't come out that way. All right. I guess at this point, we're ready for a roll call, Mr. Mara.
Dunn?
Yes.
Dinoff?
Yes.
Hopman?
Yes.
DePrima?
Yes.
Ellis Foster?
Yes.
Singh?
Yes.
Andriani?
Yes,
Resolution 1 passes.
thank you. Transportation 1, 2, and 3? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Dinoff will move transportation items 1 to 4.
Thank you, Mr. Dinoff. I need a second.
Dunn will second.
Thank you. Any discussion on transportation routes? Okay, Mr. Mara, roll call.
Dunn?
Yes.
Dinoff?
Yes.
Hopman?
Yes.
DePrima?
Yes.
Ellis Foster?
Yes.
Singh?
Yes.
Andriani?
Yes. Okay, miscellaneous 1, 2, 3, 4. I need a motion.
Dunn will move miscellaneous items 1 through 4.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. Do I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Hartman. Any discussion? No, board members, just please check the attendance list. If you're on it or missing, please let me know. And Mr. Mara, we're ready for a roll call.
Dinoff?
Yes.
Hopman?
Yes.
DePrima?
Yes.
Ellis Foster?
Yes.
Singh?
Yes.
Dunn?
Yes.
Andriani?
Yes. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Mara, you have Roman numeral number 28, if there's anything you need to add? Not at this time. Okay, hearing of residents on any issue? Be my guest, sir, please give us your name.
Good evening, Mark Rizzoli, taxpayer resident of Ward 4. I just want to say that it was refreshing to hear people complimenting the teachers on what a great job they do. I can tell you, as being in the public safety field, despite what the rhetoric comes out of Trenton, the reality of it is public safety and education is what maintains a tax base in any community. No one moves for a specific mayor or the governor, and I just want to commend them on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rizzoli, for your comment. All right, board members, any old business? New business?
Nope. Can I?
Okay, Ms. Ellis Foster.
Age before beauty. Just one thing I wanted to bring up that's next week is the District Arts Festival is Tuesday, the 22nd, at the main high school, main building, and I think we have people throughout the district. And then a few things, I'm sorry, somebody mentioned about checking the district website because there is that video with the students' roundtable. But there's a couple other really interesting things out there. So I would really, in people's spare time, go out and check the district site. There's a video out there of an amazing program at Shepherd School for the ELA program, and they were spotlighted on Channel 12, I believe. So it's just a great video to check out some of the things going on in the district. And then the other one was through a grant I know from SEPTA that was out there for the Lollipops. Is it the Lollipop Store? Which is, again, a great program that was funded through our SEPTA and I just got to figure out how I can order my lollipops and make it look like I made them. And then the other thing, I'll probably do this every meeting as a reminder, June 17th is the Relay for Life, the Old Bridge Relay for Life. So it's a great opportunity for the community to work on stuff. And hopefully, once again, our friend Mr. Singh will get a dunk tank that we will be able to do a fundraiser. I figure I'm just going to do this every meeting, so I'll make sure that we have all of our administrators.
Wait, just to clarify, Mr. Singh gets us the dunk tank?
He was
or
able to
he goes
donate.
into the dunk?
Well,
tank?
I'm sure we will be able to
This
do
time I'll
that.
do the board.
Okay, we have it on that. I want to make sure it picked it up, that Mr. Singh will be in the dunk tank. I'm
I'll be the first one to go.
excellent. Okay, thanks, that's all I had.
All right, thank you. We also have flyers, if anybody can see this. We all have them. Bring your family to preschool night. See your preschoolers' artwork, science projects, literacy progress from each season. That's April 7th from 4 to 5:30 at the Old Bridge High School cafeteria. And they would like anyone to come dressed as a scientist, an author, or an artist. So I'm sure that will be a very enjoyable evening. So we'll make sure that we publicize that again. No, we will not, because we will not meet before that. It's April 7th. Okay.
I add
Since I have the floor, I just wanted to say that before we meet again, we will be passing through our St. Patty's Day, and for me, it's an entire week. We have the beginning of spring, and we also have the beginning of our religious Easter season for those of you who are of that religion, and I just wanted to make sure that everybody has a safe and happy holiday and rites of spring. Mr. DePrima?
I'm sorry, I know you usually speak last, but I forgot. Since we're talking about upcoming events, this weekend, this Saturday, 11 o'clock in the Old Bridge High School cafeteria is the Future Chefs event. If you've never seen it, it's a wonderful event put together by our Sodexo employees. Elementary school children will be submitting recipes on healthy breakfasts. You'll all be invited to sample the breakfast. There'll be a small raffle. And I urge you, if you have nothing to do on a Saturday morning, please come out.
Thank you, Mr. DePrima. It is good. It's very nice. Free samples as well. Anyone else?
Yes, Mrs. Andriani, I have a clarification.
Okay.
Actually, the district is not able to publish the user-friendly budget until it is approved by the county as an advertised budget, because it's subject to change by them at any time during that period. So the typical timeline is once they approve it, then we advertise the budget, and that's prior to the budget hearing. And then once the budget hearing is completed and the budget is adopted, we produce the user-friendly budget within 48 hours after the approval. So until the county approves the budget, it's not able to be shown to the public.
Okay, thank you for your clarification. Anyone else? No? Okay.
Ready. You need a motion to adjourn the public portion of this meeting and go into executive session for matters of personnel for discussions of the superintendent's contract.
Dunn will make a motion to go into executive session to discuss the superintendent's contract.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn.
I will second, since it's such a good cause.
I'm very surprised, but thank you very much, Mr. DePrima. For those of you who don't know, Mr. DePrima is not a fan of closed sessions. But, okay, any discussion? Sorry, we have to have one, no discussion, end of discussion. Mr. Mara, roll call.
Dunn?
Yes.
Steinhoff?
Yes.
Hopman?
Yes.
DePrima?
Yes.
Ellis Foster?
Yes.
Singh?
Yes.
And Andriani.
Yes,
Motion to go into executive session passes.
thank you. See you in April.
What is this? I don't know. What does it mean?
You told me you'd have a hard copy of something for me this evening.
You weren't able to, you didn't tell me that you couldn't open it.
I thought you were giving me a hard copy anyway.
Only if you couldn't open it. I'll,
I'll come tomorrow.
yeah, I have it, yeah, okay. There may even be more.